Introduction. The digital age has transformed business faster than any period in human history. Artificial intelligence reshapes industries. Social media controls attention. Data has become a weapon. Competition moves at global speed. And yet, more than 2,300 years ago, an ancient Indian strategist understood principles of power, intelligence, economics, leadership, and organizational survival with astonishing clarity. His name was Kautilya, also known as Chanakya, the architect behind one of the greatest political and economic systems of ancient India. His legendary work, the Arthashastra, explored governance, economics, intelligence gathering, leadership, statecraft, strategic influence, and power management. Although written centuries before the internet, Kautilya's wisdom may be more relevant today than ever before. Because while technology evolves rapidly, human behavior remains remarkably unchanged. This documentary explores how Kautilya's ancient strategic principles can help modern companies survive and thrive in the digital business era. Chapter 1: Information is Power. Kautilya understood something extraordinary for his time. Information determines power. The Arthashastra placed enormous emphasis on intelligence networks, data gathering, and strategic awareness. Kings who lacked information became vulnerable. Today, the same principle defines modern business. Data has become the most valuable resource on Earth. Companies like Google, Amazon, Meta, and Alibaba built empires through information dominance. They understand customer behavior, market psychology, consumption patterns, and attention economics. Kautilya would have recognized this immediately. Because the leader who understands reality more accurately gains strategic advantage. Modern businesses therefore must master analytics, market research, customer intelligence, and digital behavior. The companies that understand human psychology best often dominate entire industries. Chapter 2: Strategy over Emotion. Kautilya believed leadership required realism, not emotional decision-making, not impulsive reactions, not ego-driven behavior. Modern digital culture encourages emotional leadership. Social media creates outrage cycles. Markets react emotionally. Executives panic during uncertainty. But Kautilya understood that emotional instability weakens power. The intelligent strategist remains calm while others react emotionally. This becomes incredibly important in modern business. A company that changes direction constantly loses strategic clarity. A leader controlled by public opinion loses long-term vision. Kautilya believed disciplined thinking creates sustainable success. The digital era rewards speed, but speed without strategic intelligence creates collapse. Wise companies move carefully, deliberately, and strategically. Chapter 3: Build systems, not dependency. One of Kautilya's greatest insights was this: strong systems outlast strong individuals. Many modern startups depend excessively on founders. When leadership weakens, the organization collapses. But Kautilya emphasized institutional strength. He understood administration, systems, accountability, organizational structure, and economic management. This principle is critical in the digital age. As businesses scale, complexity increases, communication weakens, and operational chaos emerges. Without systems, execution breaks down, quality declines, and growth becomes unstable. The strongest modern companies create scalable systems, not personality-driven empires, because sustainable power requires structure, and structure creates resilience. Chapter 4: The Management of Digital Competition. Kautilya deeply understood competitive environments. He believed intelligent rulers studied rivals, alliances, weaknesses, and opportunities continuously. The same principle applies today. Modern competition is relentless. Companies no longer compete only locally. They compete globally. A startup in one country can disrupt industries worldwide within years. Kautilya would advise modern companies to monitor competitors carefully, understand market shifts, identify vulnerabilities, and adapt quickly. But he would also warn against unnecessary conflict. Not every battle should be fought. Many companies destroy profitability through endless competition. The intelligent business instead creates differentiation, strategic positioning, and unique value, because true power comes from becoming difficult to replace. Chapter 5. Trust is the foundation of power. Kautilya understood that no kingdom survives without trust. Corruption weakens systems. Dishonesty destroys loyalty. Leadership without credibility becomes unstable. This principle becomes even more important in the digital era. Consumers today can expose companies instantly. Reputation spreads globally within hours. Trust has become one of the most valuable assets in business. Modern consumers increasingly support brands they emotionally trust. Kautilya believed wise leadership protected long-term stability over short-term greed. This is why ethical behavior becomes strategic advantage, because companies that repeatedly violate trust eventually collapse psychologically. The digital world remembers everything, and reputation compounds over time. Chapter 6. Adaptability in an age of disruption. Kautilya understood that survival required adaptation. Economic conditions change, political systems evolve, power structures shift constantly. The same is true today. Artificial intelligence changes industries rapidly. Automation reshapes employment. Technology continuously disrupts old business models. The companies that survive are not always the largest. They are the most adaptable. Kautilya believed wise leaders continuously observed changing realities. This requires humility, because adaptation often demands abandoning outdated assumptions. Many companies fail because they become emotionally attached to old success models. But survival in the digital era requires continuous learning. The future belongs to organizations capable of evolving faster than disruption itself. Chapter 7. Long-term thinking in a short-term world. Modern digital culture is obsessed with immediacy, instant growth, instant profits, instant attention. But Kautilya believed sustainable prosperity required long-term thinking. He understood that stable economic systems are built gradually. This principle becomes rare in modern business. Many companies sacrifice long-term trust for short-term metrics, but short-term thinking creates fragility. Kautilya emphasized economic discipline, strategic patience, and sustainable governance. The greatest organizations think in decades, not quarters. Amazon spent years prioritizing scale over immediate profit. Toyota built long-term operational discipline patiently. Apple built ecosystem loyalty over decades. These companies understood strategic patience, and patience remains one of the rarest competitive advantages in modern business. Chapter 8. The Future of Digital Leadership. The digital era creates enormous opportunity, but also enormous psychological pressure. Modern leaders face information overload, constant competition, public scrutiny, technological disruption, and economic uncertainty. Kautilya would argue that leadership now requires more than intelligence. It requires psychological discipline, because organizations ultimately reflect the minds leading them. Fearful leadership creates instability. Reactive leadership creates chaos. Ego-driven leadership creates blindness. But disciplined leadership creates resilience. The future belongs to leaders who combine technological understanding, strategic thinking, emotional control, ethical governance, and long-term vision. Kautilya understood something timeless. True power is not merely control over systems. It is mastery over oneself. And in a distracted digital civilization, that may become the greatest strategic advantage of all. Conclusion. More than 2,000 years ago, Kautilya studied the psychology of power, leadership, economics, and strategic survival. His world lacked artificial intelligence, smartphones, digital platforms, and global internet systems. Yet his understanding of human behavior remains astonishingly modern. Because while technology evolves rapidly, human nature evolves slowly. Organizations still rise and fall based on leadership quality, strategic clarity, discipline, adaptability, and trust. The digital era may appear radically new, but the foundations of sustainable power remain ancient, and perhaps that is why Kautilya's wisdom still survives today. Because true strategy is timeless. Thank you for watching.